While Chinese Australians are generally considered to have a quiet and loyal spirit, few Australians are aware of their courage, commitment and determination in defending our nation as members of the armed forces since the Boer War. More than 200 Chinese Australians fought bravely for Australia during World War I. While they overcame the White Australia policy which prevented non-white individuals from joining the armed services.
They've made a huge contribution, haven't they? And it was quite hard for them to join up before World War II in the struggles that Australia had and the wars that Australia fought, because they were regarded as not substantially of European descent. But many persevered to volunteer for World War II, for instance. So we had people serving in the Navy, the Army and the Air Force. We're standing at the monument at the moment to commemorate that service.
During World War II, many Chinese Australian men and women served in the armed forces, including the Royal Australian Air Force. The Chinese Australian were not only fighters in the forefront, but also supported the battle. Phillip Quan is one of these men, having served during the Vietnam War.
I'm actually a conscript. I was a national serviceman, fought up in 1969, served 2 years in the Australian Army. National service ballot was reintroduced just prior to the Vietnam War to increase the number of troops to serve overseas. I served overseas as an infantry rifleman and as a ground team commander in two separate units. I served in Vietnam at Nui Dat Task Force Base in Phu Tri Province in South Vietnam. My first unit of deployment was D&E Platoon, and then I was deployed to Psychological Operations Unit, Psy Warfare Unit. I served from July 1970 till August 71. Approximately 3 decades after returning from the war in Vietnam, I finally got married. I've been blessed with 3 young children. I've continued my training in martial arts. I'm now an instructor, 5th degree black belt in karate, which I enjoy teaching young children. Growing up in Australia, being multicultural, I still was subjected to taunts about my background, my Asian background, even though I consider myself Australian. As an Australian-born Chinese, I received taunts from various non-commissioned officers and officers while in training, though I suspect most of it was based on trying to improve our strength of spirit in relation to our training as infantry soldiers bound for Vietnam.
Although the experience in Vietnam was tough, Phillip managed to overcome the challenges and return safely to Australia.
A big problem for returning vets was the customisation back to civilian life after being in the war. We couldn't talk about our experiences or share the problems that we encountered because the people back home didn't understand. To the point that a lot of us have suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of our war service, but we were never told about how it would affect us once we came home. Since the 1900s and beyond, Australia's been a very multicultural country with people coming from all parts of the world, Europe and Asia. In spite of the terrorism that's now knocking on our doorsteps, I hope that the Australian community and the people that live here make this country their own, accept all others, including faiths and cultures. We can live together in peace and in harmony in a true democratic life.
Phillip does not want to see young people sent to war, as he embraces peace and harmony in the world.
As an Australian Chinese serving in Vietnam, I had great empathy for the local people because of my background and my early childhood. I empathised with their fight against poverty, against the war conditions that they had to live under, and the terrible loss of life and property. And seeing such devastation, when I came home, I felt very glad to be in a free country which didn't have any war out on its doorsteps and didn't have the devastation that these people in Southeast Asia had to live under. I hope that we never have that sort of situation here in Australia.